Hey guys, so the January statistics just came out. I can't wait to present these to you. I'm going to try to keep it nice and concise just so you get the meat of this information, but there's a lot of it. We'll put a link there at the bottom for you guys to check out the full report if you want the bar graphs and all of that kind of good stuff. Big shout out to Megan Bell from the Waterloo Region Association of Realtors for putting together this report for the membership. Thanks, Megan. So, the number of homes that sold last month through the MLS system, which is through the Realtor database system, was 297 units. 297 overall buy sides and sell sides in the month of January, which is down 42% from January of last year. So that's not prices. We're not down 42% in pricing. We're down 42% in overall buying and selling activity. So January, we were at the second lowest of any single month in well over a decade in terms of activity. So why is that? This is where I'm just going to interject with my thoughts. So January is always historically a low inventory month. Not too many people have their homes for sale in January because it's cold, it's wet, it's a little bit too far from the summertime. And so when people who have kids in school, for example, January might be a little bit too early for them to put their home on the market if they're wanting an end of June closing to coincide with school. So January is usually a low inventory month. Now, this month was even lower simply because a lot of the buyers were pushed out of the market, especially the first-time home buyers, because of the way that the rates have went. They've constantly went up and they're pushing a lot of buyers out of the market, and a lot of sellers recognize this. And because they recognize this, they just decide now's probably not the best time to put the home on the market. Time on the market is well above what it was this time last January. Homes are not flying off the market. But what I can tell you overall, if you are planning on selling your home, we are in a very low inventoried market. So if your home shows well, is priced well, is marketed correctly, it's gonna sell, and probably still in multiple offers if it's under a certain price range. In January, the average sale price for all residential properties in Waterloo Region, this is all properties, detached, townhouses, semi-detached, the average sale price was $764,000, which is down 20% from January of last year. So January of last year, the prices were 20% higher for the average home. But get this, we're up 6% from December, just this past December. So in the last month, we're up 6%. The average price of a detached home was $888,487. So basically $888,000, which is down 21% from January of last year. Remember that market when it was really hot, multiple offers, $300,000-400,000 above the asking price? We're down 21% at $888,000 this January versus last January. But we're up 7.6% from just December. So that's a sign the buyers are now getting back into the market. The average sale price for a townhouse was $625,000 this January, which is 26.1% down from last January. The average price for an apartment-style condominium was $495,000, which is down 9% from last January. And the average price for a semi, now, today, was $650,000, which is down 21.5% compared to last January. So the prices are up from December. Well, they're not close to where they were last year. So we'll see what happens in February. On a monthly basis, we are still waiting for more transactions to happen. And I have a feeling as the months kind of roll in, February, March, April, we're going to see these numbers climb back up. Usually the majority of all transactions over the course of a year happen in the first 6 months, the majority of them. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. We're starting to see some multiple offers, which is unusual, but I mentioned that earlier. We're starting to see some multiple offers, certainly in the lower price ranges. So if something is listed at $400,000, $500,000, or if it's a detached home under $800,000, there's a good possibility it's going to go into multiple offers. But it has to be priced correctly in terms of a strategy. It has to show well, and it has to be marketed correctly. So the Bank of Canada, again, increased its interest rates at the end of January by 0.25%. While it's not a huge increase, the upward momentum of interest rates are definitely a factor in overall buying and selling activity. Like I said, many buyers have been taken out of the market because of the rate hikes, and many sellers recognize that, so they're just not putting their house on the market for fresh buyers to jump in. So my biggest thought so far from what we're seeing is this year over last year, just seeing the industry in general. This year, we're kind of starting the year a little bit slower, simply because we ended 2022 on a bit of a slower note. November, December sales were overall down, and of course that bleeds into the new year. But if you look at 2022, January, February, we came steamrolling into there simply because November and December were just ferocious. So then all of a sudden we had a huge runway into 2022. But 2023, like I said, it's a bit of a different beast. So it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of plays out as the year progresses. I do think there's going to be a point where we start to get more inventory hitting the market, more buyers are going to jump in. We're going to have hopefully a regular spring market, which kind of takes things back to a little bit of normality. We'll see what happens. But we're still overall in a very low inventoried market, but homes have to be priced correctly, marketed correctly, and they have to show well. The average days on the market, this is a shocking number. The average days on the market in January was 25. Now, what was it last January? 9 days on the market on average. And 9 days, I'm gonna say, is probably on the high side, simply because if a home hits the market on a Monday, they're reviewing offers the following Monday. That's only 7 days. But by the time the brokerages retrieve the deposit, register the sale, it ends up being 9 days. So right now we're sitting around 25. Last year it was probably below 7, which is crazy if you factor in bully offers ahead of the actual offer day. Pretty crazy stuff right there. We've also noticed the number of buyers that are coming from the GTA has drastically reduced. Maybe that has to do with just the right inventory. It's just not on the market for them. Or maybe because now they can actually get something closer to the GTA versus driving the extra 20-30 minutes to the region. So it'll be interesting to see as fresh inventory hits the market, certainly in the newer subdivisions, what sort of influence the GTA is certainly going to have in, or most definitely going to have in those particular neighborhoods. But right now, a lot of buyers and sellers are kind of in amongst Kitchener-Waterloo, buying in Kitchener, selling in Kitchener, that type of thing. We're getting a lot of local transactions, which is kind of the way things used to be. So we'll see how the rest of the year plays out. Very long-winded, I apologize, and I'll make sure the link is there for any of you guys that are just stats junkies like me, and you can go ahead and check it out. See you guys.